So I'm going to finish up the review for Chapter 2. There's only a few problems left. They're all the word problems. And either the word problems are going to be the box problems, with a distance equals rate times time, or they're just going to be us setting up two fractions and cross-multiplying without the need of a box. So if it's not a boat problem, a bike problem, a walking or running problem, then the word problem is going to be a cross-multiplying. And so as I look at this, it doesn't talk about boats, bikes, walkers, or runners. So this first word problem is just a flat-out straight cross-multiplying. I'll take the numbers in the first sentence and make a fraction out of those. I'll attach words to the numbers so I know where to put the number from the second sentence. So in the first sentence, I see that 50 miles is equivalent to 2 inches. I don't really have to write the words miles and inches, but it helps me when I do the other side of the equation. So there's one more number left. It's going to belong in the fraction to the right of the equal sign, and the 3,000, that number represents miles, so I'm going to put it parallel or across from the 50, which also represents miles. And I'm going to throw an x down in the denominator. That's the unknown, how many inches are going to be apart on the map. I'm going to cross multiply. I'm going to cross multiply down and up. When I do that, I get 50x equals to 6,000. So apparently this is going to be a really large map. I'm going to divide by 50. Pull out my calculator to do that, which I think is 120, but I don't want to mess it up. So I'm going to go 6,000 over 50. So yes, it's an insanely big map. So I get x equal to 120. The units for that x is a unit for the denominator, which are inches. So the cities on the map are going to be 10 feet, or 120 inches apart. I'm going to check my work by plugging in the 120 and seeing if the fraction 50 over 2 equals to the fraction 3,000 over 120. Because for my answer to be correct, both sides of the equation need to reduce the same. 50 over 2 is going to reduce to 25. And the right-hand side, if it also reduces to 25, then I haven't made a math error. Doesn't mean that I set the problem up right, but at least tells me I didn't make a math error. So my simplification for each side gives me 25. And even if you had the fraction wrong, if you had x in the numerator and 3,000 in the denominator, the checking is still going to check. But this only checks the algebra. It doesn't confirm that my setup was correct. But it seems reasonable that basically every inch is 25 miles, and 120 inches is going to be 3,000 miles. I feel good about that work. Next problems, the next two problems are going to be the box problems. Problem 7 is a boat problem. Box isn't going to be given to you on the test. And for our boat boxes, we have the boat going against and with the current, or upstream and downstream, and it doesn't matter where you put the against the current and the with the current, or how many words you choose to write. It's just for you to get the information organized. So the first sentence gives me the distances. The 24 miles is against the current, so I'm going to put that in my distance against the current. The 48 miles is a distance with the current. I'm going to put that in the with the current level. In the boat problems, both rates need a sign. One gets the against gets a minus sign, the with gets a plus sign. The speed of the current goes after the sign, so my rate is going to be the boat speed minus the current speed, and the boat speed plus the current speed, where the B is the boat speed without a current. It's the boat speed in still water. I'm basically done now, because everything else is easy. Once you get the distance in the rate boxes correctly, for the time boxes, you divide the distance over rate. So 24 over b minus 4 and 48 over b plus 4 are going to be my time boxes. And in every one of these problems, the boats or the runners or the bikers are traveling for the same amount of time. So you just algebraically have to set the time boxes equal to each other and cross multiply. In this problem, I can cross multiply up and down. It doesn't matter which side. When you do your cross multiplying, you put each multiplication on. So you could have yours backwards from mine. It's not going to give you the wrong answer. I'm going to clear the parentheses. 48 times b. I'm going to write a 48b. And then 48 times 4. I'm going to write 192, but I need a minus sign for that. To the right of the equal sign, I'm going to multiply 24 times b and get 24b, and 24 times 4 and get plus 96. No squares, so I don't have to factor. I'm going to minus 24b and add 192 to each side. And I'm only looking for one answer here, so I hopefully this kicks it right out to me. On this left side, 48b minus 24b is 24b. The 192s are set up to cancel. On the right side, the 24b's are set up to cancel, and the 96 and the 192 come up to 288. And then I'm going to divide by 24. So I'll do 288 over 24. I get b equal to 12. And that stands for the boat speed in miles per hour. So for my answer, I'll say the boat speed in Stillwater is 12 miles per hour. Now I'm going to check a bunch. First part of my checking is I'm going to plug the numbers into the original problem. I'm going to go, does 24 over 12 minus 4 equal to 48 over 12 plus 4? So I need that to work. And both of these give me time. So I'm going to go fraction 24 over 12 minus 4 gives me 3 hours. And similarly, 48 over 12 plus 4 is going to give me 3 hours. So the boat travels for 3 hours in each direction, and its speed against the current is going to be the 12 miles per hour minus the 4. So its speed is going to be 8 miles per hour against the current times the time of 3 hours. That gives me the 24 miles it traveled. That's good. And here, with the current, its speed is going to be 12 plus 4, or 16 miles per hour, times 3 hours. And 16 miles per hour times 3 hours gives you the 48 miles. So I feel really good about my answer. It works perfectly. When I algebraically it works, and logically it works. So I feel real good about that answer. Last problem, it's either a walking or it's a running problem. In the walking and running problems, only one of the rate gets the sign, and I set these up to get the rates boxes done first because they're tricky. So again, the rate box is not given to me. I have to create this box for the problem. And for us, for all walking, running, biking problems, there's a fast person and a slow person. And every single problem we did, the first sentence helped me get the rate. And that's the case here. And unlike the boat problems, in the walking problems and the running problems, only one of the rates gets the sign. And in this problem, it's the slower person that's going to get the sign. And in for the slower person's speed or his rate, I'm going to put x minus 1. He's 1 mile per hour slower than the faster person. The faster person's I'm going to call x. So x is going to be the fast person, fast runner speed, or rate. Rate and speed are kind of interchangeable for us. And x minus 1 is going to give me the slow person's In the boat problem, because there's only one boat, I only needed one answer. In this problem, there's two people. I want the two different speeds. I want the speed of each. There's two more numbers in the problem. Those stand for distances. I need to get those in the appropriate distance spot. The 20 miles and the 16 miles are distances. The 20 miles is the distance the faster person ran. The 16 miles is the distance the slower person ran. Once I get the distance and rate box, I'm basically done, because I divide distance divided by rate to get the time box. And because they're running for the same amount of times, the algebra you get by setting the time boxes equal to each other. Cross multiply, doesn't matter which side you do the cross multiplying on. Cross multiplying down, I get 20 times x minus 1. And if you do that multiplication, multiplying 20 by x, you get 20x. 20 by minus 1, you get minus 20. I'm going to solve this for x. I don't need to factor because there's not a square. I'm going to minus 20x from both sides and then divide. When I minus 20x from the left side, I'm still left with the minus 20. On the right side, 16 minus 20 is negative 4, so I get a negative 4x when I do that subtraction. Now I'm going to divide both sides by a negative 4. On both sides, the two negatives divide out to be a positive. On the left side, 20 over 4 is 5. On the right side, the 4's cancel and you're left with the x. I know that the x stands for the faster person's speed. So when I go to write my answer, I'm going to say the fast person's running at 5 miles per hour. The slow person does 1 mile per hour slower, or 5 minus 1, or 4 miles per hour. I'm done, but I'm going to check. I'm going to figure out the times by plugging in 5 for the x's. So the left side, it's kind of insulting to do with a calculator, but I'll do it anyways. 20 over 5 gives me 4 hours, and 16 over 5 minus 1 gives me 4 hours. So both runners went for 4 hours. The fast person went for 4 hours at 5 miles per hour to give him his 20 miles. The slow person ran for 4 hours at 4 miles per hour to give me the 16 miles. So I'm feeling really good about my work because it works perfectly. Algebraically, I get a true statement when I put the answer in for x into the original equation, and logically it works too. When I multiply the time times their speeds, I get the distance that they've run. So the boxes all fit together real nicely, so my work must be correct. So that's the end of the review. There should never ever be anything in one of my tests that isn't just like something on the review. So if you have the review mastered, you should be set up to do perfectly well on this test. And if there's holes or things you don't understand about the review, this is when you need to start getting a hold of me. Come visit me in my office, or come visit one of our math tutors, and make sure when you go into the test you know how to do everything. Because if you don't know how to do it before the test, you're not going to figure it out on the test. And there are no surprises on my test, so you should, if you can just master this review, be perfectly comfortable and do well on the test.